The Baba Ghoulie Show is brought to you by OTR Halloween Holidays.
Your local blue coal dealer presents The Shadow. These half-hour dramatizations are designed to forcibly demonstrate to old and young alike that crime does not pay. Before we present the first act of today's Shadow story, a brief reminder to you homeowners. You all know what an unpredictable month March is. The weather's blustery, bitter cold one day and mild the next. And I don't have to remind you how very dangerous those extremes of temperature are to the health of everyone in your family. Now, if you want to ensure steady, comfortable warmth inside your home and help prevent late winter colds and illness, here's what you do. Call your nearest blue coal dealer. Get a supply of blue coal, the quality-tested hard coal that guarantees you steadier, more healthful heating performance and satisfaction. Don't gamble with just any ordinary coal. Insist on blue coal. Ask for it by name. It's the coal that's trademarked blue, so you can identify it at a glance. It's the coal that will give you better heat with less furnace attention. As our story opens, we find Lamont Cranston with his friend Margot Lane in his apartment, busily turning the dials of a shortwave radio receiver.
Margot, a few nights ago, I came across a very peculiar noise on the radio. Couldn't figure out what it was, so I got my recording set out tonight, and I'm going to make a record of this strange broadcast.
Yes, I remember when you first got the recorder. We recorded everything we could think of. It was a lot of fun.
Yes, particularly our duets. Well, listen, there it is. Start the machine. We'll record it right now.
The oddest thing I've ever heard. It doesn't make any sense.
I can't make head or tail out of it. Doesn't sound like a human voice, and yet it's... Wait. I'll play our recording back on the phonograph. See now, wait a minute. There.
Can you make it play slower? We might be able to analyze it better.
Oh, yes, I'll slow it down.
We cannot bring it down on land at
Margot, it's a man's voice. Why, it's very clear when the record is played slower. What a simple trick. They've merely made a record at a slow speed and played it fast so you can't get it.
But how could anyone receive the message?
They must have a recording outfit like mine and play it back at the low speed. Let's listen to the record again.
Yes.
Yeah, just a minute, I'll start it. There's the group.
Speed. Operator speed. New battle plane lands here tonight. This mystery ship will be destroyed tomorrow.
Margot.
We will fly this plane to the Gordon Lightship and then 10 miles due south.
Gordon
We
Lightship?
will cruise to that point in our boat and pick us up. This plane will be destroyed at sea.
What do you suppose?
We cannot bring it down on land at any cost. It will never be recovered.
What?
We have the only existing set of plans, and the designer is dead. Operator one in command.
Do you know what that means, Margot?
No, I don't know.
A new army plane is due tomorrow or next day at the aerodrome. It's one of the most revolutionary inventions in the history of military aviation. Only one of these planes has been built. And not one of the men who worked on its construction was permitted to know all its secrets. And its designer is dead.
Oh, I see.
With this plane in the hands of an invading power, this country would be wiped out before our defenses could be mobilized.
Well, tell me about it. What kind of plane is it?
The plane is revolutionary in design, Margot. It's equipped with a very intricate shortwave radio control outfit. By means of this shortwave, one of the planes can control up to 50 flying bombs.
Flying bombs?
That's precisely what they are. Unpiloted miniature airplanes. They're extremely fast, can be directed by the mothership at any target, from a speedy bombing plane to an army tank or battleship. As far as I know, they've only built 3 or 4 of the flying bombs.
We have so little to work on. What can we do?
We've got to find the shortwave station that broadcast that record.
But how can we ever find it?
You know, Margot, the closer you get to a broadcasting station, the louder the program comes in.
Yes, naturally.
In my car, I have a simple device with a needle and dial that shows accurately when you're getting near a radio transmitter. With the aid of that device, Margot, we are sure to find that station.
I don't think it's any use to go any further west, Lamont.
And what does the dial read now, Margot?
It's down to 9.
Well, we'll go southeast now.
The signal is getting stronger, Lamont. The dial reads 20 now.
Good. Covered every inch of the city. There must be a road that goes further east from here.
Well, the only place I know east of here is Robbers Reef. Do you think it could... Oh, it couldn't be out there. Why, there's only an old tumble-down house on the reef.
I think you've hit it, Margot.
How do you get there?
There's an alley between a couple of these buildings here that leads out onto a sort of short, narrow sandbar connecting the mainland with the end of the reef.
Is that it there, between those old buildings?
So hard to see in this fog.
There.
Yes, that must be it. We'll try anyway.
This is the gloomiest place I've ever seen. Lamont, look. The dial reads 30.
Good. We're headed right. Margot, I'm going to stop here. Now, you stay in the car. Keep the doors locked till I come out of the house.
Please don't go in there, Lamont.
I won't, Margot. But I think the Shadow will pay a call.
That's awful funny. What was that? Who's there?
Only the Shadow.
The Shadow. Well, who are you? Where are you hiding? I can't see you.
I'm hiding in the shadows, where no man can see me.
What'd you come here for? What do you want?
I came to listen to you play that record you have in your hand.
You can't do it. Nobody can hear these records, not even my son.
Your son?
Yes, this is his shortwave radio set. He lets me run it when he's at work nights.
Did you make these records?
You think I'm crazy? Of course not. I don't even make sense. Some darn fool pays me $5 to play him on the air. He says it's just a joke, and they do sound pretty funny.
Who is he?
And down if I know, he's some kind of a foreigner, comes here every so often and leaves me some more of them to play.
What's your name?
Joe Ryan.
Of course, Joe. I knew you, and all about these records. I was just testing you.
Yeah.
You and I are going to play a joke on our friend. I'll bring a record here in a little while, just like one of his. And I'll pay you $10 to play it in place of the one you've got there. He'll think it's a great joke.
$10. You're twice as much of a darn fool as he is.
What do you mean?
You're paying me just twice as much. That's why. The joke's on you.
Yeah. He'll think it's very funny, too.
Well, here's to you, Corbin. I guess our work's about done. Tomorrow the Army's new plane will disappear, and so will we.
Yes, Gawler. We'll be all finished up. It's been a pleasure working with you. Perhaps your methods are a bit ruthless, but they produce results. Shall we listen into your last shortwave broadcast and record it, just as a souvenir? No, it's time for it now.
Well, all right, tune it in.
Such a simple idea, but high-speed recording. No one in the world can understand that.
Wait a minute. Listen, there's something wrong with that message. It's a good thing we are recording it.
I think it's your imagination, Gawler. It sounds like all the rest of your records.
I know what my voice sounds like even at high speed. Now, play the recording back at the slow speed.
Mm-hmm.
Listen.
Operator 1. Operator 1. Your plan to steal the new Army bomber
Sounds
has
very
been discovered.
strange.
If you do not want this plan
not my
revealed, come at once to Joe Ryan's shack on Robbers Reef. If you want your secret to remain a secret, come immediately, for I have things of grave importance to discuss with you. I'll be waiting for you, Operator 1. This is the Shadow.
Shadow. I've heard of him. He's dangerous. Perhaps we should leave tonight, Gawler. You have the only plans, and the designer's dead. Let's leave at once.
Fool, we have yet to destroy the plane. Besides, Corbin, the Shadow knows too much. Balla will teach him a lesson he has long needed. Balla will teach him not to meddle with affairs of importance. Let's go at once. Don't drive so fast, Corbin. This fog is pretty thick.
But you told me to hurry.
Yes, but it would be a pity to disappoint the Shadow. Put out your headlights, Corbin. We turn on to Robbers Reef here.
All right.
Drive slower, you fool.
I'm just barely creeping.
No, we can't take any chance on any accidents now. Look, what's that? Right ahead of us.
It's a car with no lights. Car with no lights. Coming in from Robbers Reef.
It must be the Shadow. Quick, Corbin, steer out of its way.
I can't without going into the bay.
It's going to hit us. Look out!
Are you all right?
Yes. Fortunately, we're both going very slowly.
Somebody getting out of that car.
Stop where you are before I shoot. Corbin, flash a light on his face.
It's a woman.
I thought it was our friend, the Shadow. What are you doing out here, young lady?
I lost my way.
And why are you driving without lights?
Well, I thought I could see better that way in the fog.
I don't believe you. Corbin, look in the car and see if there's anyone else.
Yeah.
Perhaps you brought someone out to Robbers Reef. Young
I don't
lady,
know what you're talking about. I tell you, I lost my way.
Well, we'll soon find out. You are coming with me.
No one else in the car, Bob.
Good, Corbin. I'm sure there's nothing the matter with the cars. Drive hers into the water. Then bring ours to Joe Ryan's shack. The young lady and I are going to walk. Unless she is foolish and tries to run away.
The Shadow's adventure continues in just a moment. You know, friends, it's true that nothing succeeds like success. In fact, nothing proves the merit of a product or the claims made for it as conclusively as its sales records. And the fact that blue coal ranks first in nationwide volume of sales is proof that it is a better anthracite. Countless thousands of you homeowners here and in communities the nation over have made that record possible. You've tried blue coal. You've compared it with other fuels. And you've kept blue coal's top-ranking position unchallenged throughout the year. Now there's a real treat ahead for you homeowners who haven't yet tried blue coal. There's the satisfaction of knowing you're getting the most in heating comfort that money can buy when you order blue coal by name. For the harmless blue coloring which identifies blue coal also guarantees you far better quality, far better all-around performance. Just try blue coal. Compare it with the coal you're burning at present. You'll see why blue coal is America's largest selling anthracite. You'll join those thousands of satisfied homeowners everywhere who know there's no substitute for blue coal for better heat with less furnace attention. So call your nearest blue coal dealer. His name is listed in the Where to Buy It section of your classified phone directory under the words blue coal.
Step in there, young lady.
What? Oh, it's you, mister. Hey, did you hear it? Did you hear the funny record?
Yes, very funny. Where's the Shadow?
I don't know where he is. Said he was a friend of yours.
He is a great friend of mine. I'd like to see him.
You can't see him, because even when he's here, he isn't. He just talks to you.
Ah, you're a fool, old man. Now, young lady, suppose you tell us what you know about the Shadow.
The Shadow?
Don't pretend that you don't know him. You brought him here. All right, you, Corbin.
Yes, Bob.
Take that piece of rope and tie the old man up.
Hey, what for? I ain't done nothing. I just did what you told me to. Honest, I did.
Shut up. Tie him well. No, you don't, young lady. Stay away from that door. Here, Corbin, give me a hand. The young lady doesn't want to stay here. Tie her up, too. That's it. Tie her to this chair. Fine. Now we will see.
What hit me? Paula, did you do that?
You may thank the Shadow, Corbin.
The Shadow. I can't see you. Where are you?
You hear where my voice comes from, don't you?
That's all I wanted to hear. I guess the last laugh belongs to Baller. It was too easy. Come, Corbin. We must get to the aerodrome. We have work to do. Come, Corbin. Hurry, hurry. Hurry, Corbin. The X-1 should land just at dawn. It will be light in a few moments.
I'm doing the best I can. I'm still worried about that girl and the old man back on Robbers Reef. You should have gotten rid of them.
As soon as I leave you at the airport, I will go back and close their mouths forever.
Leave me at the airport?
Certainly, Corbin. You're a pilot. It's up to you to fly the army ship out to sea alone and bury it.
Yes, but suppose something happens when I get out over the ocean. Suppose they don't pick me up. This is dangerous, Baller.
Your strong suit is not courage, Corbin. But don't worry. You will be picked up, as will I. The rest of our operatives are waiting even now on the boat, 10 miles south of the Gordon lightship.
Do you still have the plans for the plane with you?
Those plans have not been out of my sight since the day I got them. There's the entrance to the airport directly ahead.
What do you plan to do, Baller?
Simply this. The flight of this new plane has been veiled in greatest secrecy. There will be but one guard at the airport to meet her. Huh? You and I represent ourselves as inspectors from the War Department. Once we get aboard the plane, it is simple. We'll overcome the pilot and anyone else on board, and the rest will be up to you. Here. We can stop right here now.
Look, Baller. Look, there she is now. She's just landed.
And look right behind her. There are the 3 flying bombs coming in perfect formation. Come. Let's get over to the plane.
Sorry, sir. No one's permitted on this field.
Oh, I'm Harry Johnson from the War Department, and this is Mr. Andrews, my assistant. We have been sent out to check the landing of the new plane.
Do you have any identification?
Identification? Why, the best in the world. Look, here are the plans for that ship. Is that good enough identification?
Well, it sure is.
Who is piloting her?
I believe Lieutenant Flynn, sir.
Well, I'd like to get his report as to how she handled on her trip east.
Well, there he is, just coming out of the cabin. Oh, Lieutenant Flynn. Yes? Mr. Johnson and Mr. Andrews from the War Department, sir.
We came up to get your report on the flight firsthand. Did you fly in alone?
Yes, sir. She handled beautifully in the air, and the flying bombs responded perfectly.
I've gone over these plans here, of course, but I would like to step into the cabin and see what it looks like.
Oh, certainly. Right this way, sir. The pilot sits up ahead here in this heavily armored cockpit. Now, by closing this metal door, he can be shut off completely from the rest of the ship.
What is the purpose of that, Lieutenant?
It's just an added armor protection for the pilot and the shortwave mechanism that controls the flying bombs.
But, Lieutenant, can the pilot communicate with anyone in the other part of the ship when the door is closed?
Yes. Step into the cockpit here. Now, you see this microphone?
Yes.
That's connected with a loudspeaker installed in the rear of the ship so that the pilot constantly can be in contact with the rest of the crew, even if the armored door is shut.
Where's the equipment for the control of the flying bombs?
That's right here, sir.
Uh-huh.
See this dial with numbers up to 50? You just set the indicator at any one of the numbers, and that throws the flying bomb of that particular number in line with the corresponding controls so that it can be manipulated separately. And these 3 dials here control speed, direction, and altitude. It's perfectly simple. Is there anything more I can show you, sir?
No. You have been a great help, Lieutenant. What is that switch in back of us?
Oh, this? Why, that's the...
Oh! All right, Corbin, take off immediately. As soon as you get in motion, I'll push the pilot out and jump out myself and tell the guard that you are running away with the ship. There. There he goes. Now, hurry, Corbin. Take her off. Good luck, Corbin. I'm going to jump now. Help! Stop! Help! Stop!
Well, Corbin, your plan has worked perfectly. Up to now.
What? Who said that?
The Shadow.
But how did you get here?
I came with you in the car from Ryan's shack on Robbers Reef. You cannot escape from the Shadow.
But Baller killed you.
No. He only shot at my voice.
Where are you now?
I am in the shadows of a cabin in back of you, but I can see you well enough to shoot you If you don't bring this plane down immediately...
No, don't shoot. I'll bring it down, Holly. Don't shoot.
Open that door. Open that door, I tell you.
Well, Mr. Shadow, you can shoot your heart's content. Perhaps you heard Lieutenant Flynn say that the pilot's cockpit is well armored.
Corbett, bring this plane down.
I'll bring it down all right. The 3 flying bombs in the ocean 10 miles south of the Gordon lightship. But when the plane lands, you will land in it alone. For I will leave it by parachute before it goes into its last power dive. What do you think of that, Mr. Shadow? Why don't you speak? Shadow, can't you hear me?
I hear you all right, Corbin. And thanks for the suggestion about a parachute. It was nice of you. I'm going to leave you, Corbin, but not for long. I'll chase you to the ends of the earth. You'll never get away. Goodbye, Corbin.
What's the matter with those mechanics? Can't they get that pursuit ship started? Look at that plane gain altitude.
Take it easy, Lieutenant Flynn. The mechanics are warming it up as fast as they can. How's your head? You got a nasty crack.
It's all right. It's all right. Wait till I get my hands on that guy. Where did the other one go to?
In the excitement, he ducked into a car and beat it.
You sent out a police call?
Sure, first thing. Hey, look. Look. Someone just bailed out of the ship.
Oh, that's funny. The parachute's opening, but I can't see anybody.
That's the darndest thing I ever saw in my life.
Look, the number 1 flying bomb is diving for the parachute.
Will it explode if it hits the parachute?
Once the firing mechanism is released, it'll go off if it hits anything.
Oh, my Lord. It just missed the parachute. And it's diving. It's diving straight towards us. It's out of control. Quick! I pedal the ground.
You all right?
Yeah, but boy, I'd hate to be any closer.
What happened to that parachute?
It came down right in back of us. But I still can't see anyone.
Well, I can't stop now. I gotta take off and force that guy down.
Lieutenant Flynn.
Huh? I'm hearing things. Boy, must have gotten a worse smack on the head than I thought.
No, it's not your imagination, Lieutenant. You're hearing the voice of the Shadow.
The Shadow? Well, who are you? Where are you? How did you get here?
I'm in the cockpit right behind you, and we have no time for explanations. Lieutenant, you and I have caught up with a gang of international spies.
Oh, so that's their game. Well, how do you know this?
I've been with them all night, followed their every move. Perhaps you saw me bail out of the stolen plane.
Yeah, and you nearly got blown to Kingdom Come by that flying bomb.
Too close for comfort. What is your first move, Lieutenant?
Well, I'm going to fly close to the stolen plane and call by radio. And if that crook won't listen to reason, I'll force him down.
Good. You're almost close enough now.
Yeah. He sees it. Look, one of the flying bombs is turning. It's heading right for us.
Can you turn out of its way?
I'll try. Those things are too fast. They can turn on a dime. Look at that thing fly.
Your only chance is to shoot it down. Can you hit it?
I've got to.
Good shooting, Lieutenant.
My lord. Look, that madman has released the one remaining bomb.
Yes. He's right behind us. Our only chance is to put this plane into a power dive.
Here goes.
It's still right on our tail.
If I could only get to that rear machine gun.
I'll handle it.
You know how to use it?
Yes.
You got it. You got it, Shadow. Wow, that was close.
Now I think Corbin will listen to reason. I'll call him by shortwave. Calling plane X1. Calling plane X1. Corbin, this is your last warning. Land that plane.
No, don't shoot me down. Don't shoot. I'll land the plane. Hold it. Don't shoot.
Turn immediately and go back to the airport.
All right. I'm turning.
Boy, that's a good day's work finished.
For you, but not for me.
Now, what do you mean, Shadow?
There are several things left undone. The Coast Guard must be instructed to pick up a boat 10 miles south of Gordon Light. It has boarders operatives on board.
Oh, we can do that right now.
As soon as we see Corbin safely landed and in the the hands of the guards. You must fly me to Robbers Reef. Baller's headed there, and he must be captured. I'll call the ground at once and have the police notified to follow up.
Who's there?
Paula, what do you want? What are you doing here?
Well, I'm glad to see my little birds have not flown. And now, young lady, there are a few questions I would like to ask you.
Can't you loosen these ropes a little? They're cutting my arms.
In a few minutes, they won't hurt your arms anymore. Nothing will hurt you anymore. Was that a boat or did a plane land here?
A plane? You couldn't land a plane on Robbers Reef. Say, mister, when are you going to untie me?
I'm not going to untie you. I'm going to kill you.
Me? I ain't done nothing. What you want to kill me for? I only did what you told me.
Oh, you fiend.
You are the only one left, young lady. The shadow is dead, and you... Who's there? Who closed that door?
The shadow.
But the shadow is dead.
No, Baller, the shadow is not dead. Put that gun away. I showed you once that you could not shoot a voice.
No, but I can shoot a very lovely young lady, Shadow. And I don't think you'd care for that. I'm going out this door, and I'm going to shut it after me. If it opens, I shoot. And if I don't hit you, Shadow, I'm going to kill this girl. You can't stop Baller. No one can stop Baller. But the police, I'll shoot them like dogs. I'll kill every one of them. I'll kill...
They got it. You all right, Margot?
Yes, Lamont.
Here, I'll cut these ropes. We have to get out of here.
Thank you, Lamont.
Well, Margot, they've killed Borland. I hate to see any man die by violence. But if that man dedicates his life to the evil task of plotting and espionage against a friendly country, he faces but one fate. And that fate is justly death by violence.
And now here's John Barclay, Blue Coal's heating expert.
Thank you, Ken Roberts, and good afternoon, everyone. I think it's a fact that of all things a man owns and operates, he knows less about his furnace than anything else. Now, the weather this time of year, as Ken Roberts said earlier in the program, is particularly treacherous. You've got to pay strict attention to the control of your fire and your furnace dampers to keep the house from becoming chilled off or suddenly overheated as the temperature falls and rises outside. So if you have any question in your mind about damper control, or if you want to be sure you're operating your furnace in the most efficient and most economical manner, here's what I suggest you do. Call your nearest Blue Coal dealer. Ask him to send a John Barclay serviceman to check up on your furnace. John Barclay men are trained heating experts. They can show you how to get the best possible heating results. And there's absolutely no charge or obligation of any sort for their advice. Always feel free to call on your Blue Coal dealer. I thank you.
Today's program is based on a story copyrighted by the Shadow magazine. All the characters and all the places named are fictitious. Any similarity to persons living or dead is purely coincidental. The Shadow magazine is now on sale at your local newsstand.
Of crime bears bitter fruit. Crime does not pay. The shadow knows.
Next week, same time, same station, Blue Coal, America's finest anthracite, will again present another thrilling adventure of the Shadow. Be sure to listen, and be sure to burn Blue Coal, the solid fuel for solid comfort.
It's intermission time at the Baba Ghoulie Show. Time to refresh yourself and visit our snack bar. Got a yen for some hot popcorn? How's about your favorite soft drinks, which are sparkling cold? And there's all kinds of candy to tempt you. It's radio time, folks. Enjoy the rest of the program. Hope you're enjoying today's radio program. When it's done, be sure to check out our channel over at Watchwaddle. Enjoy some tunes with a nice cold soda.
Esteban, find my nephew and send him to me at once. Bueno, senor. Senor Rex, your uncle wants to see you in the study.
Wish to see me, Uncle Nelson?
Yes, come in. Sit down. I did have something on my mind, but first let me ask you, did you find what you were looking for?
Why, Uncle Nelson, I wouldn't dare go through your desk.
Well, of course not. Do you care to finish your cigarette? It's too bad you bothered, because I have what you were looking for right here. Well, unfortunately, I'm not surprised. Morally speaking, forgery is not particularly more heinous than many of the scrapes I've gotten you out of. It is, however, considerably more stupid.
But, Uncle Nelson, I swear
You were drunk, no doubt, and in a jam, but not half as bad as the one you're in now. I'm not positive, but I believe the law provides a 10-year penalty for a case of this kind.
You wouldn't
prosecute you? Of course I would, and I shall, if you ever disgrace me again. Now, this is the last time I pay off for you, my boy. And unless you change your ways, I shall... Well, I think you know that I keep my word.
But, Uncle Nelson,
There's no more to be said about the matter.
But...
Did you hear me?
Eddie there? Oh, hello, Eddie. Look, this is Rex. Rex Leland. Listen, about that other check I gave you. Hold it for a couple of days, will you? Of course it's good. I just don't want my uncle to see your endorsement on the back of it. But I'm not sure I can get over there. All right, I'll see what I can do.
Hello, dear.
Mother, will you let me have $200?
I'm sorry, Rex, I haven't got it.
But I've got to have it. Simply got to. You can get it somehow.
Rex, what's the matter?
Nothing. It's for a friend of mine. He's in a terrible jam.
Why do you worry me so? You know how your uncle humiliates me.
But, Mother, I've got to have it. It's terribly important.
Certainly I refuse. And regardless of your denials, I know that you want that money for Rex.
And supposing I do? Why did you ask me to come and live here? To make a beggar of me? Why did you accustom Rex to wealth and educate him if you didn't expect him to require money?
I was hoping to make a man of him, not a drunken playboy.
That's enough now. Even you couldn't expect me to stay and take that.
Well, why do you stay, Laura?
I stayed for the advantages I foolishly thought would come to Rex. But there's a limit to my endurance and his. We are leaving Nelson tomorrow.
Oh, I wouldn't do that, Laura. I like having my family around me. Call it a patriarchal complex if you like, but I do believe that...
Oh, senor. The man from the village is here with the Palomino horse for you to look at.
All right, I'll be right down.
Bueno, senor.
I think it would be wise for you to remain for the present. Sorry, sir. I thought you were at the stable.
La muñeca negra.
What do you know about that?
In our country, often she means death.
I know what it means in your country. What does it mean on my desk?
I do not know, senor.
You're lying.
I'm not lying.
Don't let anyone into the house, not even tradespeople. And lock the front gate, you understand? Where's Miss Marian?
I do not know.
Tell Rosita to find and send her here immediately.
Bueno, senor. Bueno.
Get me New York City. Bryant 5, 7192. I want to talk to Mr. Henry Stedman personally. This is number 312, Mr. Rood calling. Yes, Stedman? Yes. Get a hold of Malice and Walling. What? I want them to know where I am. Have them out here in the first train. Oh, they'll come all right. Just say the Black Doll. Yes, thanks. Goodbye. Well, where do you think you're going?
Thought we'd run down to the village.
Oh, change your mind. You're not going. No one leaves this house.
Pay no attention to him. He'll have us behind bars.
Please, Mother. I think if Uncle Nelson wants us to stay.
Rosita.
Si, senor.
Did you find Miss Marian?
I no can find her in her room.
Why don't you look where you know she is?
Maybe she's in the summer house. I go see.
No. I'll find her.
Boy.
Well, how is it?
There's a touch of magic in your cooking.
And there's not an onion in it. A fine detective. Thieves steal the food right out of our mouths, and you sit there.
Looks like the perfect crime. Wait a minute. Are there any fingerprints? No. Aha, I see tracks. Come, Watson.
Be careful, stranger. There's wolves in these here parts.
Looks like he's going to put up a fight.
I'll cover him from the other side, Butch.
Okay.
So long, pal.
If I don't see you again, pal, good luck, pal. Now, how do you suppose that happened?
I don't know. I was afraid it wouldn't.
I think we'd better eat our hamburgers.
Father. That is, this is Mr. Halstead.
How do you do, sir? We were just having a hamburger. Would you like one?
Who gave permission to trespass here?
I said it was all right, Father.
This is not an auto camp.
Father, please.
Marian, go inside.
I'll see you tomorrow, Marian.
If your equipment is still here in the morning, I'll have the sheriff remove it.
Come here, Stooge. Looks like we'll have to place a Galahad, Stooge, and rescue the beautiful princess from the castle.
Sure this is the Rood house? I'm sure. I was inside once. His nephew came down the village one night and got all liquored up. I had to bring him home. But you won't get in, though. I brought a lot of people up here, and I always had to take them back. You want me to wait for you? Yes. Okay.
We want to see Mr. Rood, please. I think we're expected.
Senor Mallinson and Senor Walling.
That's right.
Come in, please.
Why did you send him away?
In the garage. She will be out of the storm, sir.
Oh.
Gentlemen, Mr. Rood is waiting for you in the library, if you please.
Come in. Well, hello, Rood. How are you?
Sit down.
Thanks.
Nelson, it's good seeing you again. 15 years. It doesn't seem possible.
No. Sit down.
Thank you. I'll stand by the fire.
So you finally come out of hiding, huh?
Oh, call it retirement. What have I to hide for?
You ought to know.
You're a little bit more outspoken than you used to be, Mallinson. But bear in mind, if I had something to hide for, we were all partners.
But Nelson, you know perfectly well that we had nothing to do with Barrow's death.
You think you could prove it? If you had any suspicions, you would have aired them at the time. You would be in a bad light if you started talking now, wouldn't you?
All right, Rood, forget it. Nobody's going to talk out of turn.
No? Then why pull that cheap theatrical trick on me? No, I wouldn't put it past you, Mallinson, to be setting the stage for a shakedown.
Well, I don't mind saying, if I'd found out where you were a little sooner, I might have. You had it coming to you. But I don't know a thing about this, Rood, and that's on the level.
Why, surely you don't think that Why, I haven't seen that thing since the day we discovered the mine.
There are only 3 of us in Barrows that knew anything about it. I suppose you think I sent that thing to myself, or that Barrows came back to life.
Maybe he didn't die.
Don't be a fool, Wallings. Barrow's been dead for years. And if that's why you sent for us, I think you're missing a bet. All we've had is a nice wet trip for nothing. Well, since that leaves us with nothing to do but talk about the good old days, I think I'll be going back to the city.
No, I'm sorry, gentlemen. I don't think there are any more trains. And besides, the roads become impassable in a storm like this.
But we're not prepared to stay. We didn't bring anything.
Oh, I think I shall be able to fit you out with anything you need.
By the way, how'd you happen to know where we were?
Since we sold the mine, I made it my business to know where you were and what you were up to. Oh, there's Esteban. He will show you to your rooms and provide you with anything you require. Dinner is at 8, and come down a little early if you want a drink.
These are your rooms, gentlemen. If there is anything you wish, please ring for me.
Thanks. Well, Wallings, I've got to give you credit. I didn't know you had the nerve.
What do you mean?
Trying to hijack the old man. Sending him that doll first to soften him up, only I noticed he didn't soften.
Oh, you must be crazy. I never knew where he was until he sent for us.
Now, Wallings, you can trust me.
No, I tell you, I never want to get mixed up with that man again. Why, I thought you said.
No, I was telling the truth.
How did it get here? Do you think Barrow...
Oh, get Barrows out of your head. He's been dead for years and you know it.
But we're the only ones who knew about it. Who could...
How do I know who? Besides, the doll isn't going to bite you, is it? Don't be so jittery. Have a drink. You're making me nervous now.
Didn't you announce dinner?
Si, senor, I did.
Well, where is everyone?
Senor Morrison has gone to bed, very tired. Senor Walling begged to be excused too.
Well, the others, my sister, Miss Marian?
Miss Leland in bed with headache. We'll have a train in room. Mr. Rex...
What's the matter with Miss Marian?
Miss Marian, she's not coming. She didn't say why.
You tell Miss Marian I want to see her here in 2 minutes.
Did you hear what I said?
The senorita has asked me not to disturb her.
Who is it?
Marian, open the door. I want to talk to you. Marian, why didn't you... member in this family. Haven't even washed your own plate. Now, don't tell me you want to go out again. Hey, what is this? Don't you want your umbrella or your rubbers? No? All right, here we go. Marian, what happened?
I saw him die. The knife. It's back.
I don't know. Get me a blanket or a coat, will you?
Si, senor. Muñeca negra. Why did she touch it? It is sign of a death. It was meant for Senor Rood.
You'd better get Mr. Rood right away.
But, Senor, you do not understand.
Esteban. Why, Marian. Why, what's the matter? Oh, you poor child. What has happened?
I don't know exactly what did happen, but I think you'd better get her some warm things.
Si, Senor. I go and get Rosita.
Yes, Rosita will know what to do.
Is everything all right here? She mumbled something about somebody being stabbed.
Stabbed? Oh, fantastic. The poor child was probably terrified with the storm and became hysterical. She's very highly strung and emotional.
Oh, I wouldn't say that. Anybody's liable to become upset after seeing someone murdered.
I haven't the slightest idea of what you're talking about.
Mother, Marian hasn't been murdered, too.
Rex.
I think you'd better leave her where she is and call a doctor.
Dr. Giddings will be over right away.
Thank you, Rex. She'll be all right with Rosita.
Did the storm terrify you into running out without hat or coat, too?
No, I went down to a neighbor's to telephone for the sheriff and Dr. Giddings.
What's the matter with the phone here?
Somebody cut the wire.
I see. And to get to this neighbor's, did you take the path that goes by my trailer by any chance?
No. No, I went through the main gate.
Rex, dear, don't you think you ought to get out of those wet clothes?
All right, Mother.
Senor?
Oh, I didn't take off my coat, did I? There you are. Now, don't you think you might break down and tell me just who's been murdered?
Well, it was my brother, Nelson Rood. There's simply no reason for my not telling you. Of course, I didn't recognize you at first.
Is anyone with the body, Mrs.?
No. It isn't a very pleasant sight.
I understand how you feel, but if the murderer is still in the house, you're giving him a wonderful chance to destroy any evidence he may have left behind.
Well, that didn't occur to me. I'll send Esteban.
Would you mind if I have a look?
Suppose there isn't any reason that you shouldn't. I hope you won't mind, but I'm afraid I couldn't face it again. Esteban, will you take Mr. Halstead upstairs?
If you please.
Thank you. Esteban.
Senor?
Have you any jelly in the house?
Jelly?
Yes.
Si, senor.
Good. Get me a jar of jelly, some talcum powder, and a plate.
Bueno, senor.
All right, boys, all right. Surround the house. Don't let anybody through. Bundle up. Bundle up like, Oh, how do you do, Miss Leader? This is the coroner. Come on, man. Come on with me. Don't be scared. So there's been a murder, huh?
I believe you've been informed by telephone my brother has been murdered.
Yes. Who killed him?
I'm sure I don't know, Mr. Rennick.
You're sure?
Mr. Rennick, I refuse.
Lady, easy on the whip. When I'm investigating a crime, I'm not a man. I'm a bloodhound. Now, if you just cooperate with me, this mystery will just fade away. Oh, what's in there?
The living room? Nothing.
Oh, nothing but the corpse, eh? What are you stalling me for?
that is Mr. Rood's daughter. The body is upstairs.
Sheriff, if you think I'm going to wait around here all night watching you play G-Man, you're very much mistaken. Now, I want to look at that body and then get back to my live patient. Red, sit down there and keep your eyes peeled. If you see anything that looks phony or anybody makes a false move, send for me. Who are you?
Halstead's the name. I guess you're the sheriff, aren't you?
Yeah, I am. Keep your hands off that knife. There may be some fingerprints on it.
They're still there, Sheriff. I just took a print off for you.
If you're going to give this man the third degree, kindly step aside and allow me to examine the body. Do your stuff, coroner. What do you know about fingerprints?
Oh, quite a lot. I spent a couple of years in Washington in the fingerprint bureau.
Oh, a G-man?
No, a private investigator.
Oh. Oh, pussyfooter, huh? Hey, listen. This was my murder. And I want you to keep off it, you understand? Yeah.
Hey, Sheriff!
Where's the sheriff?
What is all this? Will you jump the man off the dog? Search him. You might have a gun. I've got it. All right, stand still, buddy. Stand still.
Hey, Sheriff!
Hold still.
Sheriff, we nailed this guy when he comes sneaking up to the house with this.
Fine, that's good work. Hold this.
Get away from me,
Dr.
you fools.
Giddings. Oh, hey, let go of him, boys. Go on out. This is very embarrassing to me, Doctor.
This town's going to have a new sheriff, Rennick.
Oh, what I...
Dr. Giddings.
Sorry to be so long getting here, but my car slipped off the road just outside the gates. And as I started across the lawn, those two half-wits jumped on me.
Doctor, I want to apologize.
Don't bother me, Rennick. Marian in here?
Yes, she's in here.
Miss Leland, there are a couple of questions I'd like to ask you. Who else lives here?
Well, usually just the servants. Rosita, the one you saw in the living room with Marian, and her husband, Esteban. Well, then we have two guests in the house, Mr. Walling and Mr. Malison. They were friends of Mr. Rood's.
What's that room there?
That was Mr. Rood's study.
I want to get everybody in here. Murphy, come here. I want you to go upstairs and get Mr.
Walling, Mr. Malison.
Mr. Wallace, Mr. Simpson, and...
Excuse me, Sheriff. I'm afraid your deputy's eating the fingerprints.
Red, put it down. Go out the kitchen and get Stebbins. Now we'll all go on in here. I'll sit right in there. I'm sorry. Lovely place you have here, Mrs. Leland.
I'm glad it meets with your approval, Mr. Rennick.
Well, sit down, everybody. Sit down. Who discovered the body?
I did.
Oh, you did? Well, that's fine. Just lay your cards on the table, lady.
I was preparing for bed when I heard a thud in the hall, like someone falling. And then I heard a scream.
A blood-curdling scream? Like...
Maybe it was a muffled scream, Sheriff.
You lay off on this scream. All right. Go ahead.
Well, then I put on my robe and went into the hall. And I saw him lying there. Then I found Rex and sent him for help.
Where was he?
Who, Rex?
Yes, Rex.
I was in my room.
Oh. Who knows you were in your room?
Nobody, of course. Mother found me there.
Yes, that's quite...
Sheriff, if I might make a suggestion.
No, never mind your suggestions.
No quiero ir, señor. Yo no tengo que hacer... Mira usted, señor, este hombre me trae aquí.
All right. Never mind the pig Latin.
Me no can stay, Miss Marion. She needs me, señor.
Yeah, but you're going to stay and beat... Are you Stebbins?
I am Esteban.
Never mind the initials. What do you know about the murder?
A deal more.
Come on, Miss.
Wants to.
I understand. Senora Leland and Senor Rex have a big fight with Senor Rood this morning. Why you no ask them, eh?
See, it's true. Many times I hear fighting in this house.
That's a malicious falsehood. They're just...
Just a moment. You said something about them fighting, Rosie. What was it?
Many times fighting about Rex. Money, girls, gambling. Mr. Rood's very angry.
Rosita!
Quiet.
I won't be quiet. These ungrateful servants are twisting an unimportant family discussion into something to shield themselves.
Stebbins. What? Oh.
How long have you been with Mr. Rood, Esteban?
15 years.
Ever strike you before?
Si, senor. Twice.
Why did you stay?
Because Senorita Marian need us. Rosita and me.
You're not getting any place, Halstead. So you think that Miss Leland and Rex knocked Rood off, is that right?
No, senor.
Well, then who do you think did it?
La muñeca negra.
Oh. Hey, Red, go and get this La Muñeca Redna.
Who?
La
Muñeca Negra?
Yeah, well, go bring him in.
Sheriff, La Muñeca Negra is the black doll.
Is this a rib?
Si, senor.
Hey, Red, take him out.
Wait a minute, Sheriff, wait a minute. There is a black doll. Miss Rood has one right now.
Hey, what kind of a gag is this?
Did you ever hear of a criminal leaving a mark or a symbol to show who committed the crime? Well, whoever killed Rood left a black doll just for that reason.
Oh, I get it. You mean just like in that picture, the mark of zero, huh?
Exactly.
Let's see it.
Sorry, Doctor, getting that. I was frightened.
Right. Sit down. How are you feeling now, Marian?
Feel all right, I guess. Just a little frightened when I woke up, that's all.
Come on. I came in. Come on, I said I come in and I want to find that black doll.
Is anyone hard of hearing here, Sheriff?
You'll have to drop that third-degree manner, Rennie. This young lady's had a bad shock. You'll give her a relapse.
Let me talk to her. Marian, where is the doll?
That's funny. It was here a minute ago.
Yeah, I suppose it just walked out, huh?
I was out of the room for a minute, but otherwise there's been someone here all the time.
Well, may I ask just where you went when you went out?
I sent Rosita for some hot water, and when she didn't return, I went and got it myself.
That's right. We had her in the other room.
We had her in the other room?
My mistake, Sheriff. You had her in the other room.
Well, where's the doll now?
Marian, where did you pick it up?
It was thrown into the room just after Father was killed.
Had you ever seen it before?
Yes, but it was years ago. We were living in Mexico. One of the Indians gave it to me on my 5th birthday. I loved it very much. One day, Father and I were walking. I dropped it into a ravine. Father went down to try to find it for me. On his way, he accidentally found one of the richest veins of ore in Mexico. He named the mine after my doll. He never found the doll. Of course, I was heartbroken.
Just one more thing. Are you sure this was the same black doll?
I've never seen another one like it.
Well, it'll turn up again, I imagine.
You imagine, huh? Well, suppose you just forget your imagination.
Hey, Sheriff! Say, Sheriff. This fellow Mallison. I've looked all over the house and I can't find him anywhere.
Skipped, eh?
And this Mr. Walling. He's locked up in his room and won't come out.
Now, come on, we'll wrap this case up right now. Halstead. I'm going to give you a break. We'll interview this case together.
Fine.
Come on.
Rosita, stay with him, will you?
Si, senor.
Rex, won't you tell me what has happened?
I haven't done anything.
Well, then why did you lie to the sheriff?
I didn't lie.
But you said you were in your room.
I was.
Oh, you weren't. I went there right after and you weren't there.
I'm sorry, Mother. You'll just have to trust me.
Well, what? Well, what did you find out?
Well, what do you suppose? I found he was dead. Died of a knife wound. Where to your party's unknown. Been dead about an hour. Had the body removed. There's the instant of death. And those are the things out of his pockets. Good night.
Good night. Oh, Murph.
Yes, sir.
Where's that fellow you said wouldn't come out of his room?
Right over here, Sheriff.
So he won't come out, huh?
Oh, Sheriff.
Come here, man.
Would you like to see where that knife came from?
Yeah. Well, what'd I tell you? Murph, go get the fingerprint man. It don't take me long once I get my nose to the ground.
Got it all doped out, eh?
Come on, baby. The guy stepped out in the hall, stabbed Rood in the back, ducked back into this room, waited till everything was quiet, and took it on the breeze. All open and shut.
It's a gift, Sheriff.
Take a look around the room, see if you can find some fingerprints. Here's the knife. Put out an alarm. Block all the roads. Check all the hotels and tourist camps.
Excuse me, Sheriff. I think you're making a mistake. I believe your man's still here in the house.
What?
There's his wallet with $400 in it. Nobody's going to make a getaway and leave that behind. And besides, he certainly wouldn't go out in his pajamas. Not on a night like this.
Well, what's his pajamas got to do with it?
The toilet articles belong to Rood. The dressing gown also has an R on it. Why? Obviously, Malison came unprepared to stay the night, and Rood supplied them. Now, Rood wouldn't leave out the most essential thing, pajamas, would he? Yet they're not here.
Clothes ain't here either.
Maybe they're in the closet. Well, Sheriff, looks like you found Malison.
Did you know he was in there?
I had a hunch. Those marks on the floor must have been made by his heels when he was dragged into the closet. Oh, here's the lady in the case.
Here, give me that. I'll take care of this from now on.
You're a brave man, Sheriff. Who's going to take your place when you're gone? The last two people who had that thing died rather suddenly.
Murphy! Murphy! Oh, yeah, take care of this evidence and go down and get the coroner and bring him right back. Sheriff.
They match, Sheriff. The prints on the handle of the knife and Malison's wallet.
Well, he didn't do so bad in an old-fashioned sort of a way.
Getting the fingerprints so quickly, you mean?
No. Finding the murderer.
Oh, you found the murderer already. Well, who
Sure.
was it?
Why, Malison, of course. He killed Rood. Prints are on the knife. What more do you want?
Well, go on. After he killed Rood, what then?
Oh, well, then he, after I guess...
He went downstairs, maybe?
Oh, yeah. He went downstairs, and he got the,
He stole the black doll from Marian, maybe?
Yes, he went downstairs and he stole the black doll from Marian, that's right.
Then
and
what?
then I guess
He came right back up here.
Sure, he came right back up here. He came right back up here.
Then he choked himself to
Then he
death.
choked himself to death.
And the black doll dragged him over and put him in the closet, huh?
What's in there?
Well, that must be Walling's room.
Well, that's what we come up to get, was it? Come on, let's go get him.
That all, Sheriff?
Yeah. Open that door. Show some life in there, I'll shoot. Come on, open that door. What's the idea of locking yourself in here? What are you hiding out for?
I was nervous.
Oh, you were nervous. Remorse, eh? You're scared, huh? Why did you kill him, Walling?
I didn't kill him. It was Rood. Yes. And he's going to kill us, too.
Never mind. Rood ain't going to kill nobody.
Wait a minute. I think he's got something to say. Everything's all right, Mr. Walling. Just tell us everything. It'll help us and it'll help you. Sit down. Have a cigarette? What did you mean about Rood wanting to kill you?
But Rood...
Just a minute, Sheriff, please. Go on, Mr. Walling.
He'd kill us in a minute. You don't know him. We were the only ones that knew that he killed Barrows, and he was afraid we'd tell.
Who's Barrows?
Well, he was one of the partners. There were 4 of us. Rood, Mallison, Barrows, and myself. Mrs. Barrows was along, too. Rood married her later, but he killed Barrows to get her. He pushed him over the ravine.
Was this the ravine where Marian lost her doll?
Yes. Mallison and I tried to get down to the ravine to find him, but...
Then you're not sure Barrows is dead?
No.
How long ago did this happen, Mr. Walling?
About 15 years ago. We sold out to a syndicate later. I never saw Rood again until today.
And you ain't gonna see him no more either. He's dead. Murdered.
Rood? Murdered?
I'm afraid that's right. And Mr. Mallison, too.
Rood and Mallison both murdered? I knew it. It's Barrows, all right. He's come back to life.
And you think Barrows escaped and came back to even matters up?
If that black dog could get out of that ravine, anything could happen. It's Barrows, all right, or his ghost.
Oh, come now, Mr. Walling.
I tell you, it's him. Dead or alive, he's got them both, and he'll get me. I'm going to be killed.
Take it easy. We'll see that nothing like that happens.
Halstead, do you mind if I ask him a few questions?
Oh, of course not, Sheriff. I'm sorry.
Well, now, the sheriff.
I want to say right now that I'm getting sick and tired of all this monkey business. If you have any more dead bodies, bring them out now.
I'm sorry, but I didn't know he was going to be murdered after you left.
Huh? He'd been dead 2 hours.
That's impossible.
I say it's a fact.
I say it ain't.
One more crack like that out of you, Rennick, and I'll bounce one off your chin.
Yeah. But look, now, but there were fingerprints. His fingerprints were on the knife.
I warned you, Rennick. I say that man had been dead at least an hour before Rood was killed.
Halstead, did you hear what he said?
Yes.
First thing you know, he'll be trying to tell me that Rood wasn't stabbed.
He wasn't.
You're going to tell me that a guy laying out there with a knife 8 inches long on his back wasn't stabbed?
That's right. The knife was thrown.
Correct, young man. The angle of the wound indicates definitely that the knife was thrown.
That's why Marian didn't see anyone. The person who threw it held it by the tip of the blade, and the passage of the blade through the body eliminated all fingerprints.
Now listen. If you find any more bodies, keep them here until morning, if you don't mind. Good night.
Good night. And he did it. Thought you could fool us, did you?
No, I didn't. It was Barrows, I tell you.
Now, listen here. I want to tell you...
Don't forget, Sheriff, whoever killed Mallison also stole the black doll from Marian. And he or she would have to pass through the hallway to get to the living room and would have been seen by your deputy at the foot of the stairs.
Well, come on. Let's go see. Come on, get out. Hey, Red! Who's this?
Why should I know? I ain't never seen him before.
Can I go back to my room now?
Yes. Go on back to your room. Hey! Murph, give me the black doll.
I left it on the table upstairs.
Well, go on upstairs and get it.
Yes, sir.
Well, what do you say, Halstead?
Why, nothing right now, I'm afraid.
No, of course not. Well, it's all in the bag. There'll be no more murders. There'll be no more black dolls.
Really? Congratulations.
Don't you get it?
No, but maybe I'm a little bit backward.
All right. Who throws knives? There's the guilty party. What do you got to say for yourself?
I say nada.
Don't start to double talk again, or I'll...
Sheriff! The black doll! It's gone!
Where is it? Oh, I'll find it. Red. Take this fellow and put him in a room and lock yourself in.
Can I put him in the kitchen?
Yes, you can put him in the kitchen. Put him any place. But if you lose him, you'll be back selling popcorn again. Come on, Halstead.
I left the doll over on the table, Sheriff. I didn't think...
You never think. Well, you better start in or you'll be back selling popcorn.
Did all your deputies used to sell popcorn, Sheriff?
No, I just say that. Wally! Hey, Wally! Come on, what are you doing there? What are you doing there? What's that?
I was going to put that up against the door.
Oh, you were, huh? So we'd have to chop our way in every time we got here, huh? Where's the black doll?
The black doll? Why, I tell you, I wouldn't even stay in the same room with it.
Wally, you're lying.
No, I'm not lying. I wouldn't touch it.
I think he's telling the truth, Sheriff.
Oh, you do you? Well, you keep your nose out of this case. This is my case.
All right. I was just trying to help you with a little suggestion.
Well, what is it? What do you get?
Oh, this is your case. You wouldn't want me to interfere.
Oh. Hey, wait a minute. Halstead! Look, Halstead, now don't be mad at me. I'm just fooling. And look, if you've got a clue, come on, let's tell it to me and let's get together on this thing.
Well, all right. I've come to the conclusion. There's something in Walling's notion that Barrows was in back of all this.
You mean that there's a ghost?
No. But maybe he didn't die. It's possible. And nobody has a better motive for the murders.
Well, you mean trapdoors and fake stairways and invisible paint? Where's he been hiding?
That's it. The murderer had to hide someplace for 2 hours after he killed Malison, waiting for a chance at Rood.
Well, could have done everything off through that room, been over that place there.
Have you looked in here, Sheriff?
No. No, it's too small a place for anybody to hide.
Oh, yeah? Well, how about this thing up here? Listen. Suppose the killer hides up there, or on the roof, and he slides down the outside on a rope, maybe. Why, he could have stolen the black doll while we were downstairs and gotten back up here in half a minute. 2 to 1, he's up there right now. You give me the word and I'll go up and bring him down.
No, wait a minute. That's a screwy idea. I thought of that one myself. Well, run along and...
Don't you want me to go with you, Sheriff?
I'm not going any place. I'm just looking for fingerprints, that's all. Now, look, I have some investigating to do. Now, you run along and sell your papers.
All right. But I think you're making a mistake.
Now, go...
At last, I can take you away where you can live like a human being.
Excuse me, I didn't mean to intrude.
Oh, hello, Mr. Halstead. Come on in. I wanted to see you. You appear to be the only one who knows what's going on around here, and as you're sure to find out sooner or later, I thought I'd like to explain that my interest in Mrs. Leland is something more than professional. As a matter of fact, we've been fond of one another for some time. Expected to be married until Nelson, Mr. Rood, objected so violently that we decided to wait.
Well, I wouldn't admit a thing like that, Doctor. Gives you a fair motive for what happened.
You're trying to be funny, Mr. Halstead.
Well, he's quite right, Laura. I might as well admit there was no love lost between Nelson Rood and myself. To be perfectly frank, there have been 1 or 2 times I felt like killing him. But my job is to save lives, not take them.
How long had you known him, Doctor?
Oh, for quite a number of years. He was subject to a peculiar malady contracted in Mexico. Actually quite rare, and, I'm considered something of an authority on tropical fevers. That's the way our paths first crossed.
Well, unless you want to become Exhibit A in this case, you'd better not let our friend the sheriff know how you feel. Is Marian still in the living room?
Yes, she's feeling much better. Go on in. She'll be glad to see you.
Thanks.
Who is it?
May I come in?
Rosita, hurry. Just a minute, Nick. Hurry, Rosita. Oh, never mind. Come in.
Well, you look like a different girl.
I feel much better, too, Nick. That is, physically. This other thing sort of got me down.
No one can blame you for that. Mind if I smoke?
No, of course not. It's all so horrible. Father and now Mr. Mallison.
Who told you about that?
Rex. I heard him talking to one of the deputies.
Oh.
Nick, what's happening? I'm almost afraid to move. I feel that somebody else. Nick, tell me, who do you think killed them?
I don't know yet. But I'm beginning to have an idea.
Have who?
Marian, how long ago did your mother die?
About 10 years ago. Why?
Oh, I just wondered. Your father must have been lonely. He never left the grounds, did he?
Not very often.
He probably didn't like the entertainment in the neighborhood. You could hardly expect him to be intrigued by places like, well, say, Eddie's Tavern, for instance.
Eddie's Tavern? Oh, no. Rex might go there, but I'm sure Father wouldn't.
Get your hands off me. All right, stick him up. Get him up. Come on, get him high. Throw him up there. Oh, you haven't got any hands.
Nick, don't go up there, please.
Anybody, somebody. Get him up. Now, turn around. All right, get down that ladder. Down through that hole. Grab him as he gets down there, boys. It's dangerous. Come on. Where is he?
Gee, Sheriff, I thought you... Gosh, I'm sorry, Sheriff.
There's not much comfort in knowing our lives depend on him. I'm so glad you're here, Nick.
I'm afraid I'm not much better off than the sheriff. But I think I know what the next move is going to be. Marian, lock yourself in your room and don't open the door for anyone but me, will you?
All right, Nick.
Oh, Sheriff, I have an idea.
Just a moment. Mr. Halstead, you've been a big help to me. You helped me solve a lot of things on this case. But if you get one more idea... I'm gonna break every bone in your body! Come on, Red, Murph, get him, take him out, throw him out. No, not you, Bud, get him.
Sheriff, this is on the level.
Dead?
Shot through the heart.
Well, didn't I tell you it was Esteban? Now maybe you'll pay some attention to me. It's too late, Doc. He's a goner.
Sheriff. There's your little friend again. And, what do you make of this?
That's a cinch. First he tossed in the black doll. That's his trademark, like he always does. Then he threw the knife. And he missed.
I see.
Knowing that he was recognized, there was nothing left but the electric chair, why, he shot himself.
And, what did he do with the gun?
The gun? Oh, he took,
Maybe he threw it out the window.
That's right.
After he committed suicide.
Say, look, you're not going to start that all over again, are you?
Nothing I can do for him. Just another case for the coroner, I'm afraid.
Well, I'm going to lock everybody in this house up in one room. Stay with them myself till morning.
That's a good idea.
You've never tasted a Halstead scrambled egg? You've never really lived. You see, it's really kind of a gift. Like being a sword swallower, having 6 toes on 1 foot. Incidentally, speaking of having 6 toes on 1 foot...
Mr. Halstead, must you continue this inane monologue at a time like this?
I'm sorry, Mrs. Veland. I was simply trying to ease the atmosphere.
Can't you do something, Rennick? You and your deputies have been touching up this house for hours now, and you can't even keep track of the black doll.
Well, you see, Doctor, there's a few things about this case that you don't understand. For instance, where is the black doll now?
It won't be there long, but it's under your coat.
Oh, well, it was only a gag anyhow.
You're getting warm, Sheriff. It was used as a gag, and a very clever one.
To divert suspicion from the real murderer. You see, Nelson Rood buried himself here, but he kept in touch with the outside world, especially with his 2 old partners, Mallison and Mr. Walling here. He was afraid of them because they were the only 2 living persons who knew the significance of the black doll.
I'm afraid you're bad start, Halstead. You all know how the doll led them to the mine.
Of course.
I wonder how many of you know that Nelson Rood murdered a man to get control of that mine.
Nick.
It's true, May.
I don't believe it.
I think you will, Mrs. Veland. Do you want me to go on, Marian?
Of course she doesn't. Whatever your father may have done, he's dead now. And I refuse to have him slandered by this unmanly...
I'm sure Mr. Halstead wouldn't have said what he did without a good reason for it. If he's willing to risk exposing someone who's already taken 3 lives tonight, we should be willing to forget our personal feelings and try to help him.
Go ahead, Halstead.
The man who was murdered was Knox Barrows, a 4th partner. Someone learned Rood's secret. How, I don't know. Possibly he eavesdropped.
A man would hardly discuss a thing like that when anyone could overhear him, would he?
He might. If he were in a delirium caused by a tropical fever.
I guess I'd better be quiet. He'll be convicting me.
However he found out, the murderer sent Rood a black doll. Not the one which brought the famous mine into existence, but one so much like it that its meaning couldn't be missed. The important thing was that it accomplished the murderer's purpose. He wanted Mallison and Walling here, so he used the doll to make Rood think that one of his old partners was preparing to blackmail him after all these years. Once they were here, the murderer could kill Rood in such a way that any investigation that more than scratched the surface would point directly to Mallison or Walling.
And why did he kill Mallison?
That's where he made his first mistake. He was so anxious to throw suspicion on him that he tried to steal an ornamental knife from Mallison's room while Mallison was in the bath. He was discovered. So it was either kill Mallison or give up the whole idea. Mr. Walling was the one he counted on to break and tell the story, so he pressed the handle of the knife in the dead man's hand to start the investigation in that direction.
Where is the motive for all this?
Oh, I'm coming to that. The murderer knew that there would be several people here with possible motives. You've got a good one yourself.
Me?
Perfectly absurd.
Not at all. Dr. Giddings was in love with you. He told me so. And Mr. Rood had some hold over you that kept you away from the doctor.
Now you're being ridiculous, Mr. Halstead.
I don't think so. I'm simply pointing out that as far as motives are concerned, we needn't go beyond this room. In fact, you could have done it yourself. You will undoubtedly inherit a good share of your brother's estate. And if Marian had met the death intended for her, you'd be even better off.
Say, that's right.
You would have been free to marry the man you loved. And you could have done all the things for Rex that you've always wanted to do.
Oh, come now, Halstead. That's a little far-fetched.
Oh, I didn't say she did it. I simply said that she had sufficient reason. However, I don't think she's quite strong enough to have choked Mr. Mallison to death. So that lets you out, Mrs. Leland. Have some more potatoes, will you?
No, thank you. I don't want any.
Oh, come on. Have a few more. I may be a rotten detective, but I'm a very, very good potato fry.
Hey, I know something you don't know.
What?
You're standing on my foot.
Well, I'm sorry, Sheriff. And it certainly wasn't Marian. She'd hardly knock herself on the head.
How did we know that you didn't do it?
You don't. Give me a few minutes and maybe I'll talk myself into it. I might say, however, that the murderer is in this room right now.
Who is it?
Rex.
Rex.
He didn't. He couldn't.
You mean to say...
When I realized that your uncle had something on you that made your life a misery, that forged check, I felt I was getting somewhere.
What forged check?
You've got it in your pocket right now.
I got it.
That check was cashed at a roadhouse near here. You forged it, Rex, and your uncle threatened you with punishment.
All right, I did do that, but I didn't kill them.
Did I hand it to you, Halstead? How'd you figure it out?
Oh, he didn't do it, Sheriff. He couldn't possibly have gotten into the hall, coming from the direction he did, and killed Esteban. So that lets you out.
It was Barrows, I tell you, that killed him. It was Barrows.
Take it easy, Mr. Walling. Take it easy. Remember. But he slipped up on one point. He didn't know one thing that you did. Marian, Nelson Rood wasn't your father. He married your mother when you were only 5 years old. You were the one thing Rood really loved. So she didn't tell you about it. Mr. Walling, you know who her father was.
Why, yes. Knox Barrows. Then he wouldn't try to kill his own daughter, would he?
Of course not. And knowing that, you wouldn't try to pin it on Barrows, would you?
Why, no.
Esteban knew this, too. He also suspected that the murderer would next strike at Marian. That's why he hid in your room, to protect you. I blame myself for not following up the first clue I had.
What clue?
Why, the cut telephone wires. The murderer had to cut the wires to give himself time to get away from the house and get back to his own home in time to receive a message to come back and aid the man he had just murdered. Looks like you're the only one who fits that bill, Doctor.
Don't you think that's going to be rather difficult to prove?
Possibly. But you're the only one who had a chance to plant that doll on Mallison. You left Marian alone. You could easily have gone up those back stairs while everyone else was in the study with the sheriff and me.
Pretty thin stuff to get a conviction on.
I'm afraid you're right. But do you remember when you first came into the house tonight? You immediately asked for Marian. How did you know she was hurt? You saw her come...
Get out of my way!
Mr. Halstead, I just wanted to thank you for all you've done.
I'm sorry it turned out this way, Mrs. Leland, but... Well, why thank me? What about the sheriff?
What do you think of the way I handled the case? I say, how did you think? Why,
I think you're the dullest, clumsiest, most stupid, feeble excuse for a sheriff I've ever seen.
Thanks for watching the Baba Ghoulie Show by OTR Halloween Holidays. This is Waddle the Duck saying check out Channel Watch Waddle for some fun cartoons with no static.